Welcome back to the channel. This last spearfishing session we went on was kind of hit or miss. It's been raining a lot lately. We weren't sure what kind of visibility we were going to be working with, but we decided to send it anyway. Turns out it was a good idea. Here's what happened. On this particular day, we decided not to venture too far out. AJ, his daughter, myself, and Johnny were only about 4 miles offshore when we found a spot that looked promising.
It's so clear.
Before coming out, we had heard the visibility in the Gulf was pretty much hit or miss, so we were pleasantly surprised to find that it was actually top to bottom in 35-40 feet of water. It didn't take us too long to realize we'd made a pretty good call coming here. It was such a neat little find with all these ruins and sunken slabs of concrete everywhere, it almost felt like we were swimming around in Atlantis. The fish didn't seem to mind us either, so we decided to take a second to just look around and explore. By now I figured it was time to get a bit more serious and start throwing some bodies in the cooler. I made this drop with the intent of finding some snapper or maybe getting lucky with some gag grouper, but I couldn't help but notice I was being watched. I'm sure most of you know by now, but I've got no problems whatsoever with eating barracuda. They're great tasting fish, they're usually pretty easy to catch, and honestly there's a lot of meat on them. At the moment I just didn't feel like doing it. By this point though, they had been following me around for quite a while, so I decided to give them a little warning poke. Eventually, most of them figured out I wasn't a safe bet, and they stopped coming near me. But like with anything else, there's always that one guy that doesn't quite get it. I shot him in the nape of the neck, and I knew he probably wasn't going anywhere, but on occasion barracuda can snap back to life, so I decided to brain him. When braining barracuda, you can't stab them from the top of the head. It's super hard, so you gotta come in from behind.
Oh, that's what happens when you don't mind your business, right, Mr. Barracuda? Right.
Even though I wasn't going for barracuda in the first place, after throwing that first fish in the cooler, the tone had pretty much been set, and I was ready to add some snapper to the list. At one point I came to the surface for a quick breathe up, and I looked down just in time to see this cobia swimming by. Unfortunately I wasn't ready to go after him at the moment, but I want you to remember this little guy. You'll see him again soon. On this drop, I noticed a small family of pretty good sized snapper living in this hole. They were pretty wary of me, so I had to get a little creative. Mangrove snapper can be nervous, but curious at the same time, so I decided to act as if I wasn't there for them at all. I look away for a second, and that was all it took to get them outside their front door. Too easy.
Good stuff.
Unfortunately, the next drop didn't go quite as smoothly as the first. I shot the snapper pretty easily, but the spear shaft ended up getting caught awkwardly between the rocks. So when I tried to retrieve the snapper, initially I couldn't actually get it out I was forced to come to the surface to breathe and leave everything back down there. I'd recently seen a pretty massive Goliath grouper down there near where I shot this particular fish, so I didn't want to leave him there for long. Luckily, Johnny had seen the situation from up above and decided to dive down and see if he could set the snapper free. At first, as you can see here, it's lodged pretty awkwardly inside the reef. It happened when I went up for air the first time, and he was locked in by the gill.
Did you see it?
They're weird.
Yeah, I know. It got tangled up.
Fortunately, Johnny was able to get it free on the next drop.
Thanks, man. I'm not gonna lie, I was about where I saw that Goliath earlier. That's why I was kind of panicking a little bit. I'm like, man, he's gonna snatch it when I go up.
Nah, he was wedged in there. The thing is, like, he just had to be turned this way. He was sideways, and he was not coming out. Like, the skull was just catching on. As soon as I flipped him this way, he scooted forward. So I grabbed him. A small space for a line to come through.
Uh-huh.
And he came out.
Oh, perfect timing, man. I'm glad you saw that.
Him up. Like, you were bringing him up. And then
Yeah.
My GoPro battery ended up dying not long after this without me realizing it, so I wasn't recording when I shot a pretty big spadefish. I tossed him in the cooler, changed the battery, and then I decided to go back in to see if I might pluck out one or two more snapper. I took a second to play with these bait fish, which were everywhere this day, and while I was distracted, I heard someone's spear gun go off somewhere near me. I wasn't sure if it was Johnny or AJ at the moment, but I soon found out. So Johnny has this little itty bitty stubby Tuso gun right here. It's only 33 inches, right? Top to bottom is 33 inches. And with this little stubby Tuso gun, he managed to nail this Cobia right here with this little thing. That's insane, man.
it's a lot of fun.
It's a lot of fun. I'm now suddenly wanting a stubby. I wanted one the first time I saw one, but I didn't really know what they could do. But this little thing's taking bodies. Like, it's been pulling up gag grouper with it, all kinds of stuff. So it's all about stubbies. All right, I'm gonna do it one more time to see what we can do. After a couple more drops and a couple more snapper for Johnny and AJ, we'd pretty much had enough for the day and decided to call it quits. I got this new dive suit. I think it looks pretty snazzy on me. I got it from AJ right here.
Looks great on you.
Just so happens to fit, so thank you, kind sir.
Oh gosh, yes. That's mine, thank you.
Where's that bag? They say it looks great on me. Brings out the baldness on my head, so I think I'm gonna use it. So
So check this out. We left today. We launched at what, like 11:30 a.m. We decided to pull chocks at 3:30. We went to one spot. Now one spot between all of us, we managed to pull this up. So not a bad day for such a short time limit, if I do say so myself.
Back at the spot. As you guys saw, we had a pretty great day out there on the water. We weren't out there for long either. We were maybe out there for like 4 hours. But we cleaned up shop, had a great time with the guys as always. So, question is, what are we gonna cook today? Well, I'm thinking we'll throw one of the mangrove snapper into the oven for a whole baked mangrove snapper. I've just been craving one lately. For those of you guys that don't know, mangrove snapper are so good. It's one of my favorite fish to eat personally. And there's just a million different ways you can prepare them. Today we're gonna bake it up just so we get all the meat. Stay tuned, here's how we do it. does it for this video. Huge shout out to Johnny Riggs for the invite. Shout out to AJ Schaefer for the new wetsuit. It fits pretty well. And shout out to Tuso spear guns. I've been seeing them up close in action lately, and I'm pretty impressed. They're pretty powerful guns, well made, well crafted. So I think there's going to be a Tuso spear gun in future videos, but who's to say? Anyway, if you like these videos, feel free to like, comment, subscribe. I'll be making more of them really soon. So thanks for watching, guys.